Because you're supposed to understand your past isn't you. Your past is paid for. Your past is in the sea of forgetfulness. Why? Because thinking about the past has the total ability to keep you from receiving the love of God. Ain't that something? Now, how many people are living in their past? How many people bring up the past constantly? I've counseled people that are 50 years old, and they cry and say, brother, you don't understand. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but you don't know what it was like when I was growing up. And I say, how old are you? True stories. One said, the oldest one, 52. I said, honey, I'm being as sensitive as I can, but not much. You're 52. And you're still talking about what it was like when you were growing up, and you've allowed that to be your resume and identify you all these 35 years you've been a Christian. That's tragedy. So when you're 72 and 55 years a Christian, it's going to be about what it was when you were growing up. Then what is exciting about the gospel? You find new life through Jesus Christ. It separates you from those things. You're not who you used to be. You're not what men have implied. You're not a product of sin and blindness and things that people do in ignorance and willfulness and wickedness. And she just cried and said, well, that's easy for you to say. You don't have my story. I said, honey, you don't even know my story. You see? So we make our story our identity. Why? Because we're starving for identity, because we lost identity through sin. We were born into not having a clue who we were. And at a short age, young age, short time in life, you were nothing more than a product of how you responded to how things unfolded. And you believed that about you, and you found your identity through life, not the giver of it. And some people got broken in that rat race, and some people became hardened fighters and survivalists. But none of it is built on truth. And then we study personalities and type this and type that, and it's all rubbish. It has nothing to do with who you're created to be. Well, I'm just geared this way. I'm just wired this way. You're studying Adam. I've heard people say to me as a pastor, well, Dan, you talk so much about faith and not emotions, but God gave us emotions. God did not give you the emotions you grew up with. Adam gave you your emotions. All your emotions and expressions from the time you can remember were all built on a self-centered wellspring. Your emotions flowed out of you thinking for you. And you're going to tell me that was Adam in the garden before sin and the fullness of God, bearing witness of God's image? Nobody had to teach you to be angry. You did not have to study to be jealous. You did not have to take a course to accomplish insecurity. Hello? Discouraged, frustration, anxiety. You did not have to work at it. It came naturally by instinct because you were born into that lie, and you must be born again. And one of the biggest tragedies is that we bring into new life what was and call it normal. People have said to me a lot, well, Dan, everybody has their moments. No, that's why you have yours. Because you're positioned for it and you believe it. You take away the runway and the plane has nowhere to land. Let the thing fly till it runs out of gas and crashes in the woods somewhere. Stop being a landing strip for things that don't produce life. It's a cop-out. Well, everybody has their moments. Stop. That means when you have animosity with your wife and shout her down with your words, you won't be convicted because you believe it's normal and it's happening to everybody, so you make yourself as everybody instead of follow him. And then there's no sense of conviction, no repentance, and it'll happen again. And you've sold cheap and you're not for sale. How's that for straight? See, I'm done with selling that way. He gave his life to put his life in me, and I want to know what that means, and I want to live it. I don't want to wake up and see you outside of him. I don't want to look at eyes that don't look through him. That's why I travel. That's why I could care less about offering. Care absolutely less. You don't have to give, sorry, Mac. You don't have to give generously in those boxes. That's just his heart. Don't you give a thing if God doesn't grab you and tell you. I am not here for an offering. I'm here because I believe what I preach. And I believe you're worth it. And it cost his blood to get it to you. So why don't I fly here and